understand no more. Can't say hardcore truths with a splash of contrast, cause it's the Illegal Opinions Podcast.
Welcome back, y'all. Illegal Opinions Podcast, the last place for real talk. Come with an open mind to leave mad. The choice is yours. I'm the man you love to hate, Sam Ridley.
Sam, you get on my last nerve.
Here with my main 100 grand, Marcus Palmer in the building. What's good, my guy?
What up, man?
I know that sounded real New York, but
I'm sorry.
I don't know.
What up, son? What up, son?
What's up, B?
God?
My guy.
My guy?
Oh, man. All right.
Oh, shit.
Yo, thank y'all for coming back. We appreciate our faithful listeners. Thank y'all to those that are constantly telling people about the show.
For sure.
If this is your first time checking out the podcast, I want to make it very clear right now, we're doing this podcast 100% backwards from how we normally do. There's been a lot of things happening in the world that, as much as we like to have fun, have organic conversations, find the deeper in it, sometimes the deeper is what everybody's talking about. So for me, I talked to Marcus today. I was like, I refuse to start on lighthearted fare when there's so much heavy out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
There is already, the world dealing with this pandemic. There's the world trying to live in the new normal. And now we have police shootings of black men that I have a laundry list of names that I could, and I will say as we go through this. So,
which is kind of crazy, right? That we're trying to get into the new normal, but this shit is still normal.
Yes, it's tragic. It's tragic to say the least. So, first of all, thoughts and prayers to all involved that we're going to talk about on this pod. And I want y'all to stay in the same mindset that we always say, come with an open mind to leave mad. I have an opinion about them. Marcus has an opinion about them. I have no problem with y'all disagreeing or seeing things differently because all the facts aren't out there and we're not the people that were there. So we're going off what we know and how we feel about it, and we all have grown up differently to have different experiences that drive how we feel when these things happen. So let's get into this, man. Let's get into this.
Let's do it.
Ahmaud Arbery. I believe I'm saying his name correctly. Rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I hope the family is trying to find some sort of peace in this tragedy. For those that don't know what we're talking about, this is a Brunswick, Georgia case that is now getting a lot of attention because it's gone viral. He was shot and killed on February 23rd. Okay, let's say that first, because that was a while ago. That was a good while ago. He was out for a jog, was known to go and jog for his health, for his fitness. He was 25 years old. Travis, 25 years old, man. I think back to what I was doing at 25 and what I've done since then. It's wild. Anyway, let me get through this. First. If you haven't seen this story, please look it up so that you can be as well versed in what we're talking about as the information that I got. So, Travis Michael is the shooter, and I feel like it's important to note he used to work for the Glenn County Police Department, which has not made an arrest as of us recording this. Okay, the 911 call that happened that was concurrent with this, he told the 911 operator that there had been break-ins in the area. And they said there's a black man running on the street in the neighborhood that I'm talking about. The 911 operator asked, I just need to know what he was doing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's powerful to me.
Crazy.
Okay,
yeah.
So before, let me keep going. And let me note on that whole him saying there's been break-ins in the area. No police reports were filed in the 7 weeks before the shooting, except one. One reported burglary at one residence that the person just opted not to really say anything, okay? The prosecutor for the defense said that Arbery may have caused his own death by struggling for the gun. So let's get into how he was shot, okay?
Man.
I'm going to tell y'all right now, this is probably one of the hardest days I've had to get through before I knew we had the pod. Okay, so he's on his jog, Okay. They basically see a black man jogging, and assume, because they've heard that there's been break-ins in the area, that he's the guy. Because he has skin like mine.
Right.
Simple as that. He has skin like mine. He's got to be the guy. I haven't seen any other black people moving along, and he's moving quickly with black skin. So it must be the guy. So they approach him in a pickup truck. And by them, I mean Travis Michael and his father. And get out with a shotgun approaching him. The father is in the bed of the truck. And this is me speaking from seeing the video. The person that happened to be driving along and filmed this is the last 30 seconds of it. And it is graphic if you choose to look it up. You see them wrestling for the shotgun. At the point you hear a shotgun blast goes off and Ahmaud is shot through the hand. The next two shots, I believe one did this, landed in the same direction, and the last one put him down. While this is happening, you see the father in the back of the pickup
with a pistol. By the way,
basically to help his son kill this man, kill Ahmaud Arbery. I'm still chilled, and I watched it about 3 times. I want to make a quick point to the fact that I watched it 3 times. I would hope, if you're listening to this, you don't have to watch it. You choose to, 100% your choice. I thought about this morning, us having to talk about this and having a platform, and I felt like it would be irresponsible of me if I did it, because the beauty of being just a civilian seeing this news story, and by civilian, I mean you're not like trying to build a platform like Marcus and I are. You can distance yourself from it as much as you want. I can't speak for Marcus. You can tell me if I'm wrong. I felt an obligation to have as much information on hand to give it to y'all, the listener. So
no,
I felt okay. I felt like I'm speaking out of my ass if I don't see as much of this as I can to give it to y'all. That's something I take on for what we're doing.
But I also think they should watch this shit, man. I mean,
okay.
I know it's not for everybody. I know some people are squeamish when it comes to shit like that, but are you squeamish because of the gruesomeness of what's happening? Or are you squeamish because you don't want to know what's happening?
Right. And I think that's something I'm going to get into later. I agree with that 100%. So back to something I just said. The prosecutor for the defense said Arbery may have caused his own death by struggling for the fucking gun. Come on now. Let me make this clear too. Travis Michael and his father fled the scene after they killed him.
Come on, man.
Okay? I'm sorry. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's a crime in and of itself.
Right.
So when they get wherever they were going, the grandfather convinced them, y'all should probably go to the police and tell them what happened. And they do so. Like I said, excuse me. Oh, allergy season. I ain't got the Rona. Glenn County Police Department, where he used to work, is where he went. So he went to his former place of employment people and told them what happened. And they said, well, sounds legit, basically. Paraphrasing, of course. And let him go the fuck home after he killed somebody in the street. So they go back to the scene, basically, and play cleanup. That's what it comes across as to me. A black man telling y'all this story. So I'm listening to what the prosecutor said. And, of course, the prosecutor has defined the defense, even if it's the thinnest possible one. This happened February 23rd, like I said when I first started. The only reason we're talking about this right now is because somebody happened to be coming along behind them and filmed it happen. If you go watch the video, it's kind of it's Georgia. It's grass. It's a road in the country, kind of. If they hadn't come along and made that video and it gone viral, no arrests have been made. Let me say that shit. We wouldn't be talking about this right now because they just would have went home, had a couple of drinks, and he'd be telling people the story of how he murdered a dude and he's the hero of the neighborhood because he stopped burglaries, maybe.
Well, something had to happen before that for him to start recording.
Absolutely.
So they had been they had to have been like, trailing this guy some way or another, or just fucking with him. And somebody that was behind them was like, well, hold on, let me record this shit and see what's going on, because I don't know what the fuck's happening. Like, why are they fucking with this guy?
Right.
And they might have thought it was going to be like a fight, some kind of skirmish or whatever. They knew each other from some other place. So in order for you to start recording that early, something had to transpire before that part.
Yeah. And that's why I say we are giving from the information that's out there right now. This is very early on. I'm pretty sure we're going to end up doing a follow-up of this as this goes on, because it's too frequent. It's too frequent that even in a pandemic, you think that maybe some things would be a little bit different, but certain things that are systemic in how you're brought up, they're there. This type of hate don't disappear with a fucking virus.
But that's that same Trayvon Martin shit. If he wouldn't have fought back, he might be alive today.
And that's such bullshit.
Like, who the fuck are you? Like, would you tell your kid to not fight for his fucking life if somebody's following him around? It's the same shit.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh, he was fucking stealing something. He was jogging, minding his own fucking business, trying to get back the fuck home. They fucking run up on him. Like, what are you supposed to do when somebody jumps out on you? He's jogging, because you don't even see the motherfucker in the video. Let me calm down, son. Let me relax a little bit. You don't see the guy in the video.
You hot. I feel it, bro. Let me tell y'all. I woke up to this. And a couple of my closest friends was having a conversation about it. And I remember telling them, I can't watch this. I'm still on the day,
Yeah.
I know we're going to do this pod. Like, what's this? We're recording on Thursday, okay? I was like, I cannot watch this while I still have to work around white people. and when I say that's not me to say I think all white people feel that way. However, I do think, and this is something we're going to talk about, we try to find the deeper meaning in this shit, and it's hard when this shit is so surface to me. It's really hard for me to fucking articulate right now. This sort of thing comes out of the mouth of people that aren't in our skin differently, and I want to explain that from the way I see it when we start talking about it. But go ahead, Mark.
You just don't understand. I mean, you just don't understand. But so he runs around the side of the truck. The guy's in front of the truck with a shotgun, so he's running around the truck. This dude jumps out with a shotty. What do you want your kid to do? Like, what would you do?
What are you supposed to do but fight for your life at that point?
You're not fucking the people. Oh, well, if he didn't fight, like, what? You're not going to shoot me on my fucking knees, motherfucker. Period.
Shit's not happening.
I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to run around the side of a house and there's a motherfucker there with a shotgun and me just be like, hands up. All right. No, you're not going to do me like that. And it might be asinine to say, but I'm not, I wouldn't even tell my kid, hey, if there's some fucking redneck with a shotgun pointing at you, surprise you, just lay down on the ground and do what he says. What the fuck?
We can't win. I really feel like there is a point crazy, where you have to realize we can't win. This is what drove this point home for me. To like take it to a personal side. One of my best friends on the planet. He is an Air Force member, black man, proud father. Mm-hmm. He goes and jogs in the morning in a neighborhood he just moved into.
Yeah.
A couple of days ago, we were having a very casual conversation. I just, the how's your day shit? What's going on, man? How you doing? I talk to him every single day. And he was just kind of anecdotally just telling us he was on his run. And how sometimes, depending on like if they have jogging trails in your neighborhood, he lives in a nice neighborhood. They'll have like stops for you to do exercises at along your run.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, little stations.
Right, little stations. So he stopped at a station to do, I don't know, whatever exercise. Doesn't matter. He was like, man, some white lady came up to me and was like, I've never seen anybody use this equipment. Are you just out for a run? And he was like, yeah, I'm just, doing my thing. I saw it. I decided to use it. He's like, oh, okay. And she said a couple other things to him and left. And this, I'm telling you, y'all, this was literally a couple of days ago. I was like, bruh, she was seeing who the fuck you were in her neighborhood.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, man, she was just, she said she had, I said, no. who the fuck is she to ask you what you're doing while you're working out and you don't know her? Was she like another person working out? I would almost accept it from that. Like if it was somebody else coming by and they're like, you know what, I never seen somebody get it in on that. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up.
Right.
No, it was just a lady in the neighborhood. He's brand new to the neighborhood.
She probably circled back around and shit. And she passed by him the first time. I was like, hold on, wait a minute.
All day, man, that's a microaggression. Y'all don't realize, and when I say y'all, I do mean some white people. And when I say that, if you're getting offended, I might be fucking talking about you. You shouldn't be offended if you don't do this shit. Period. Welcome to Illegal Opinions. So I was like, dude, that was a soft check. She was giving you a microaggression as to what you're doing where she normally walks and she's never seen your chocolate face before.
Yeah.
Period, bro. I was like, I'm telling you, like, think about that type of stuff, man. And I don't think that white people, I honestly believe this. A lot of white people don't realize when they're doing it. It might be a behavior that's systemic of them. It's 2020. I don't know how you don't know when you're not doing it.
Right.
But at this point, I'm like, I have to assume you fucking don't know, or you're racist or a bigot. There's a difference. I 100% believe there's a difference. But that type of shit is a microaggression. So I'm not going to tell my son, either of them, if you just see a white man with a shotgun, give up.
I just don't think, and I really wish, because I know, I mean, being in the military, you meet a lot of different people from different walks of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I can honestly say that most of the white people, my Caucasian brothers and sisters that I've met in the armed forces, don't rub me that way. Like they're racist, right? Because you can't survive in the military if you're racist. Like it's just not going to happen.
They out there.
But no, they are out there for sure. But they're like, I'm not going to get into, what happens in the Guard and the reserves and stuff like that. Yeah. But most of the people that are in active duty type of situations, you don't have a choice but to be around people. And if you don't like rap music, or if you don't like country music, or if you don't like fucking pop, you're gonna get that shit. And you might as well get used to it, and just get people got different shit they like. But the thing about the white people, even a lot of the ones that I'm friends with, they just don't understand that feeling that it is to have to walk out your door and be nervous for no reason because you just might get pulled over and something might happen.
Yeah.
You just might get followed around Walmart for nothing.
For no reason. Well, I mean, there's a reason.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying, and I want to make this clear to people that are listening, I know what you mean. Like, for no reason in the sense of, I know why you're following me, and it's fucked up, but it's actually for no reason. You're following me because I'm black in your store. Yeah. And it's happened to me. And I didn't grow up in a place where I had to deal with the police a lot. And we're going to get into that. And I want to wait for that on purpose after we talk about Sean Reed, which is another one. Yeah. But this type of thing is a systemic racism problem that when I see comment sections on Facebook and I see a lot of people that are color redacted want to go, well, he should have. Well, why didn't he? Well, and I'm like, how come none of you have taken a step 30 seconds back and said, those two people, Travis Michael and his father, Greg, I believe his name is, shouldn't have been following him in the first place. I never see that. That's the problem. That's where you'll see African Americans go in on you, and they might be too pissed off to articulate that to you. Because at this point, you didn't cross the fucking line. Because you're not looking at the whole picture. You're looking at what happened and the safety of the white man in the situation that's armed and the other man doesn't have a gun. That's when you see black people lose their shit. And then you want to call them angry in the comment section.
Two men with a shotgun and a pistol in a truck run down on a black man jogging in t-shirt and shorts, and he is murdered in the street.
But
That is exactly what happened.
But there's been break-ins out here. Can you hear that? Like, listen to that. Can you imagine calling 911 and being like, "There's been break-ins out here." So
Bruh.
this has got to be the guy because he's the only black face I see right now.
You should go to jail because vigilantism is fucking jail time.
That's jail time too.
If I fucking tell you, give me, like, I need more than you think, and then you hang up the phone, and you go and run this dude down and kill him, that's premeditated murder.
So I ask everybody listening, like this story, and I think as bad as it sounds, people get desensitized to it. And I'll hear white people be like, "Oh my God, again." But
it keeps happening again.
It keeps fucking happening again. Trayvon Martin, Sandra Bland, Mike Brown, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Tamir Rice, Walter Scott. Botham Jean was sitting in his fucking apartment watching TV. And Amber Geiger went to jail, and it was the first win I've seen in a long time, and the family fucking gave her a hug.
That wasn't no fucking win.
It wasn't. What I'm saying is that was the closest thing to it that we've seen, is what I mean by that.
Right.
I know I didn't articulate that well. I'm hot right now. I ain't even gonna front.
Oh boy.
This type of shit is it's paramount that we understand that as a black community, we all are on the same team in this. However, and this is the conversation I want to have with you about it, Marcus. I know me and you grew up vastly different before we met in the service. Yeah. So, like, what was your experience with dealing with police growing up, teenage years, until you went on to start your own career?
Well, growing up in Mobile, it's not my own thought process about racism is the closer you get to the water, the less racism there is. The further you get away from the water, there's more racism. I don't know how that works, but just the places I've lived, that's just how it seems. So living in Mobile is a coastal city. It's on the Gulf Coast. I played sports all my life down here, and most times everybody's cool until every now and again you run into a situation where you realize, even though people don't say it because there's a lot of hidden racism now, they'll find a way to show you that you're a nigger, boy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've been pulled over before for nothing. There was a shooting at a club one night. Me and my friends had left the club, and we got pulled over. And, like, it's just 3 teenagers in the car. We got pulled over. We were miles away from the club. This dude, a cop rode past us, flashed his spotlight in our car, saw it was 3 black dudes, flipped the bitch, and pulled us over. And we sat there for like fucking 20 minutes while he was just fucking around. I've had just people around the neighborhood write "Marcus is a nigger" on somebody's fence, and I had to approach the guy when I found out who it was. I'd approach him about that shit, and I had to deal with that part. I've played sports. For instance, I played baseball in high school. We played this high school that was out in the sticks, somewhere out in the boonies, this white school. And I'm on third base, and the coach couldn't stand the fact that they were losing to an all-black baseball team. And he says, I can't believe y'all gonna let those fucking monkeys beat y'all.
God damn.
And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm 16, right? So I'm like, what the? And
this is like said within earshot of y'all.
I'm right by the dugout, like the
right.
third base is right by the home team dugout, and so he didn't hide it at all. I've been kicked out of games because I was black. I was he was beating their ass somewhere, and I was basically, they found a way to kick me out of the game. Like I ran past the catcher, going to home plate. The catcher fell over. I didn't touch this motherfucker at all. Catcher falls over. The umpire says, "You're out. Get out of here. You're fucking thrown out of the game." My white coach gets mad. Like, you can't do that. We didn't do anything. He's out and you're out too. Like, I mean, so they'll find a way to put you in the place they want you. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I haven't had anything like blatant thrown in my face. And I'll say one more thing.
That's pretty blatant.
I
consider that to be blatant.
Blatant, like outside of like nobody's rode by me and like, you know, because people think the South is, well, that some places in the South are different, but people think every part of the South is somebody running up on you and calling you a nigger in your face, and that's not really how that goes.
Right. It's a lot more subtle now, but it happens.
It's subtle, but it happens. Like, well, that shit back then. I mean, I'm talking about like in the '90s, right? So that shit back then was as blatant as it got for me. As I got older, that shit went away, or they used to say it, you know, around me. But racism. Here's. I'll say it like this. Somebody asked me a while ago, how did I feel about the Confederate flags, right? And I said, personally, I don't give a fuck. And they were like, well, how do you feel that way? You're from like the deep South. How do you feel that way about Confederate flags? People flying them in their trucks and people having them on their fucking houses and shit. People getting tattoos and they're selling them in Walmart. I said, look, man, the way I grew up, those were like signs.
Yeah.
I don't need, okay, you got a Confederate flag in your truck? Not fucking with you. You got one on your house? Not fucking with you. Oh, your uncle drives a truck with a Confederate flag? Not fucking with you. Like, it's just,
absolutely. It
signs.
lets me know who I'm dealing with right now.
Off rip. So that's why when I say I didn't get into a lot of like racial, I mean, I had fights about race and shit like that. Got called a nigger when I lived in Nashville. Like I called a nigger on a school bus, punched him in his fucking mouth, and got kicked off the bus. But that's fine. But
yeah, that seems like a time. It's time to walk. Like,
yeah, like, so yeah, I had no choice. The bus driver was white and kicked me off the bus. So, but that was the sign for us. Was, oh, you got a Confederate flag on your shit. So when people started taking them off, I'm like, now you're taking off the mask. Like, now you're taking, like, it's like the Klan. You ride around, they got the fucking mask on, right? I know who you are. The scary part is when you take the mask off. I don't know who you are.
And now I don't know. But you know what? Like, regardless of how y'all feel, they got rid of the flags for the most part and replaced them with MAGA hats.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, and the only reason I say that is because I didn't have to have a special symbol to show I was an Obama supporter.
Right.
And it's not the fact...
Your skin, nigga.
Well, yeah, my skin. My bad. Well, what the fuck was I thinking? Right? But... And regardless of if you're a Trump supporter out there, it is your right as an American to feel that way. But what you got to understand is that hat doesn't represent the same thing it did when he first started running. It just doesn't. So when you put it on, I'm looking at you a certain way. And you got to understand why. It might not be you. It might be because of the other people that wear that hat that have done dumb shit in it. Just like if you see somebody with a blue bandana around their face or a red bandana and you assume they're a Blood or a Crip, even though now everybody got to have one on, right? Yeah. And it might be red or blue. You don't look at them as gang members as quickly now because you're like, oh yeah, they got to have a mask on. But you automatically have an assumption. So when I open my eyes in the morning and put on my work clothes, or in previous years, my Air Force uniform, I still had exposed black skin. And I'm walking around, regardless of the fact that I'm representing my country, fighting for you, fighting for something that I believe in, I'm still a nigga underneath.
Yeah.
To certain people. And that's something that is a problem. I think that's a good place to segue into Sean Reed.
Okay.
So, Sean Reed, this is another one that literally just happened not too long ago. So his death was captured on Facebook Live. The other one was somebody else's video. This one is him. He was driving. He was Air Force member. He went in 2018, spring of 2018 to present. He is deceased again. I hope his family finds some sort of peace in all of this that has happened through the judicial system. Even though, honestly, at this point, I don't think it will. And I hate to say that, I really do. This case is a lot different than Ahmaud, though, and I'm gonna explain why I feel that way. I want to repeat that for the people that are not listening. This is how I feel. Okay. I read a New York Times article and then I watched the video. So Indianapolis, Air Force member. Important to note, the officer involved in this shooting is also African American. The kid is driving a car. Looks like he appears to like not have a shirt on, and he goes Facebook Live while he's getting chased by the police. I've heard there's a 22-minute version of this video out. I saw the short version of it. It's like 4 minutes, and I think I saw enough. I'll say that. So I don't know how famous or popular this kid is, but he had a good 4,000 people watching this live. Why? People like to see shenanigans. And Sean Reed is on his Facebook Live. And maybe this is just me understanding how black people kind of articulate certain things. To me, he appeared to be kind of joking and fucking with people. Like, yo, I'm over here. Y'all come holler at your boy. Like, come get me. They chasing your boy right now. And people are in, I don't know if you've ever been in a Facebook Live. If you haven't, people are like pushing emojis. Like you can push the heart or the tear button or the laugh button. It's just laugh emojis going up and people being like, yo, I think this nigga really running from the cops. Yo, LOL. Yeah. He appears to be feeding into that. I don't see a scared individual in that scenario.
Right.
But this is what happened. Let me get through that before I get all into my opinion. So, he tells everybody that's watching his Facebook Live, he's about to get out and basically run. He's like, I got to get out this mug. Let me park this bitch. Da-da-da-da. So he jumps out the car and he's Facebook living and running. So you can't really see him. Every now and then you'll catch glimpses of his face. Sometimes you can tell he kind of held the camera steady so you can see him.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I wrong so far?
No, you got it.
All right. So, you hear the cop behind him running. You hear him running. Again, comment section. You still see a bunch of people like hitting him with like laugh emojis and yo, run, bruh. You know, they probably can't run. They eating donuts, ha ha, whatever. Just laughing, joking, having a good time. The person from the video I saw is trying to comment in the interim. The video audio cuts in and out. You very clearly hear the officer tell Sean Reed to stop running.
Right.
He says, nah, fuck you, officer. Right? Yeah. People still laughing because, you know, if you're not in a situation, I guess this is hilarious to you to see a black man running from the police because you're, I guess, rooting for him to get away. I don't know. I don't know that mindset. I don't. Shortly thereafter, you hear oh shit.
Yeah.
Now, who did you think said that? I heard it as the cop said it. Because it didn't sound like his voice.
I thought he said it because I felt like right after that, he dropped his phone.
I felt like after that, either his gun came out or like maybe it was showing and he went to reach for it to keep it from falling out or something. It's great. I'm saying this to let y'all know it's fucking fuzzy. This is another video that you can go look up. Okay?
It's broken up, but what I took from that part was the oh shit. I thought I heard him get tased. He dropped his phone and said, "Oh shit."
Okay.
That's just what I thought happened. But go ahead.
All right. I want to make it clear to the listeners at this point in the video, you can't really see anything. If any of you ever done shit. Yeah, if you've ever done a Facebook Live, if you're not facing the phone at yourself, you can't see shit. 1, 2, if you're running, you really can't see shit. So at this point, the phone is out of play because there's other shit happening. Okay? So after you hear the oh shit, unclear who it is, okay? It may have been him, it may not have been him. Let's run both scenarios. To me, it sounded like it was a cop. Let's say he presented a firearm because I think it was clear in this scenario he did have a weapon on him from what I've read. You hear 12 shots.
Damn.
And then you hear a pause, and then you hear 2 more shots.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me go back. I think I mentioned earlier, I was hearing this from my boys, my peoples all day. All right. They were saying that the 2 shots made it sound suspect. So when I finally heard it for myself, the first 12 shots, the first 2 sound very close together, and then there's a microsecond before you hear the other 10.
Mm-hmm.
Then you hear the last 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I think one of 2 things happened. Maybe he shot at the cops, and then the cop fired 10 rounds at him. We don't know how many of those rounds hit him, because at the time we're recording this podcast, that information hasn't come to light. So hopefully by the time you hear this, please take into account we don't know everything. All right. I already know people gonna feel away and kill us, but whatever. Like this is what we do, is try and dissect this shit. If he shot first and then the cop fired 10, maybe he hit him a few times. If he started to approach him at that point and he was still moving with a firearm in his hand, cops are trained to put 2 more shots in you that they know they hit you to stop you from becoming a threat, because at that point they've already committed to the deadly force.
Right.
If that's what happened, he signed his death warrant when he started shooting at the cops, in my opinion. Now let's run it the other way. The cop fired 2 shots at him, and then you hear 10 that may have been exchanged.
Mm-hmm.
How do you take that? Does it change the scenario?
Not really. I mean, if you're running from the cops, you got a fucking gun. I mean, hell, we've seen that if you run from the cops, you got a fucking cell phone. They'll shoot you.
Yeah. And he had a cell phone in his hand already.
Yeah, so all they need is for something dark and shiny to be in your hand, and they're gonna fucking pop your ass.
That's it.
But then the third scenario is the one that I'm like I said, when he was running, and I felt like I heard him get tased. He says, "Oh shit," and drops his phone. Now, if he's tased, drops his phone, and then the gun falls out of his fucking sweatpants, that's when it becomes gross.
Right.
That's when it becomes unnecessary force. Because now he's tased like a motherfucker, laying on the fucking ground. The gun falls out. Now fucking Roy, 20 yards away, is like, oh, here's my chance to get me a body. Back. So we'll see what happens, man. Like, this shit comes out, and this is kind of the worst way. I mean, we're trying, but it's kind of the worst way for us to do it, because we don't have, the video was horrible.
The video is absolutely horrible. Absolutely.
Like, the video is horrible. So, like, we're just trying to put the pieces together that, you know, which one of the scenarios happened. There's a few scenarios that could have happened, and we just don't know. But either way, I'm not saying you're asking to die, but you're asking for a serious fucking problem if you're driving around 90 miles per hour, running into fucking cars and shit. Then you're not taking the shit seriously. You're on Facebook Live making jokes and shit. Like, come on, man. You like
now, like, man. and I want to make it clear too. This is all the information I have, so I can't wait for more information to come out that lets us know what exactly led to the pursuit. What was he doing before that? Why is he driving with no shirt on? Why does he have a gun in his waist? Like, what are the details? Because I heard the story, and then I found out later he was an Air Force member.
Right.
And I know that I've been in a position as a supervisor to have to talk to a troop that can't let his old life go. I don't know what his old life was, but I did read articles where the parents and everything was painting him as the first one to help. He never got in any trouble, so on and so forth. So I never want to assume that the black guy is a thug, because I know it's very easy for us to get painted that way.
It is.
It is. However, this video is not a good look, bro. It's absolutely not a good look.
That doesn't mean that gangsters don't love their parents.
That's 100% true, and that's what I'm saying. So he might be, he might not be, but the video that he made for Facebook Live is a sick fucking look. And I'm gonna tell you who else is sick is the fucking viewers. Because
man.
Let me go back and watch it if you can stomach it. But in the comments, like I was saying, like, you know, everything's all hunky-dory when he running from the cops and everybody's sending him the laugh emojis and the hearts, run, bruh, blah, blah, blah. Now, I will say everybody's not the person I'm about to describe. But after the shots ring out, there's a very, very quick pause because all this shit's happening live and it's fast. And then all of a sudden you start seeing sad emojis pop up of people that understand how serious this shit just got. And you can't tell who's doing what. So you don't know if this is the same people that was laughing a minute ago. Okay, let me say that.
Even after he was shot, the emojis
you
were
saw
still
all kinds of laughing emojis still popping up.
Yeah, man.
I was disgusted, man.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking sick to my stomach. Like, I couldn't believe that somebody, and I have to assume they was happy a black man got shot. That's the only logical thing my brain could say for why somebody would put a laughing emoji behind not him. He was talking the whole video.
Yeah.
And after you hear those shots ring out, he never gets to speak another word. Like, we literally heard the last things he was able to say. So to see a laugh emoji behind that, bro.
But that's that generation, man. Like, it's all, you know, I remember
it's just hard to talk about.
I remember back in the day, there was this shit called Faces of Death. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
I remember that.
That shit was hard to come by because no one wanted to watch that shit. Like, yo,
I never sat and watched one of those. Yeah, I didn't understand the people that like fucking wanted to.
But nowadays, everybody wants to see Faces of Death. Like, everybody wants that video. That's why everybody's recording every fucking thing. Everybody wants that video where something bad happens. And I got it. Because even the girl said, I recorded the whole thing.
Yes. And that was, I was like, that's such a fucking weird thing to say. Because she said it. I'm not laughing at the situation. Please don't take that giggle for that. I'm laughing because she said it, if you watch the video, as if she was saying it to him.
Yeah.
Like, he was going to pick his phone up and be like, cool, and then go die.
You got that? You got that?
Cool. No, not cool. Like, what are you doing? What?
Man.
Bruh.
People are sick, man.
This is, it's not easy to talk about. And I want y'all to understand, I watched it, I absorbed it, so that we could, as a community, try and figure this out a little bit better. And have the hard conversations. Like, whether you agree with what we're saying or not. That's the only way we figure this shit out. But more to that, we got to do more than go to Facebook with it. We got to start figuring out who it is that we're electing into these positions as DA. And I want to say, isn't it like the police chief an elected position?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, those are the elections that people don't go to see who's representing you in these types of scenarios. Like Marcus was saying, the way he grew up. I didn't grow up to where I had to necessarily deal with the police a lot. But these situations always make me think back to the times that I did and how fucking stupid I was. And that a different officer being there, I wouldn't be here right now talking to y'all. I thought of a time that, and as a kid, you don't think about these things. I was, 19 maybe? 18, 19, with my girlfriend. And we trying to get it in a park, like go to the car, park, you know what I'm saying? So I found this park. I was like, oh yeah, can't nobody even tell if we come back here because it's so dark. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a stupid kid. You're not thinking about nothing but trying to get something. Like,
right.
We're parked. Fortunately, still had all our clothes on, but we're in the back seat. I see lights coming around the corner. I was like, oh shit. And they turn their lights on and come up. So we hurry up, make sure our shit is straight. You know what I'm saying? And the cop comes to the window and is like, what are y'all doing out here? Obviously, well, I won't even say obviously. The cop thinks they know what's going on. We sitting in the backseat with two teenagers.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, we just needed to talk. You know, some stupid teenager shit to say, right?
We just need to talk.
We just need to talk about this dick. So
wow.
And pussy. Anyway, so the the cop was like, all right, license, registration, whatever. We're in her car. She gives him the shit and goes back to run the plates and whatnot, right? So, in my bright idea, I get out the car.
Oh, wow.
I didn't think about it at the time, bro, but you got to understand.
Go explain?
I was, well, what was it? We were in the back seat and the car was off. So it was getting hot in there. And I wanted to go turn the car on because I wanted some fucking air conditioning. But I hop out the car and I'm trying to get the officer's attention. So I start kind of walking towards a police car. She hopped out the car, and I didn't think about this at the time. She basically put her hand on her gun and was like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, officer, I just want to ask you if I could turn the car. And she's like, I need you to get back in the car right now.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. Can we turn the car? She said, no, you can't turn it. I still asked the question. If you're listening right now and you're going, Sam's fucking stupid, I'm agreeing with you. I didn't understand the seriousness of the situation and that she probably was going to shoot me if I got closer to that police car. I'm not saying this to sound big and bad. I'm not saying this to try and be big. No, I'm saying this because it was fucking stupid. And as a black man, I'm pretty sure, and I could be completely wrong when I say this, a white guy might have got away with it. All she knew was two black people in the backseat walking up to explain a little bit.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say that is because I don't know if you remember seeing a picture of a white guy with a gun on his hip reaching for it, and there's an officer in front of him just holding his hand out. It went viral on the internet a while back.
Okay.
And I remember seeing it and being like, wow, that cop ain't even reaching for his gun. He's just telling him, hey, man, calm down, bro, to the white guy.
Yeah.
I feel like if in that moment, for whatever reason, I took another 2 steps, my life might have been over at 18, 19 years old. Because I was just not even thinking in the realm of my life is in danger.
I mean, it wasn't as publicized. I mean, I'm gonna say it wasn't as easy to get to. Like, news now pops up on your phone.
Right. Back then, none of that was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no. National news, like you knowing that some like 3 people got killed. You knowing that 3 people got killed in Indianapolis within the span of a few days. It's not something that we would know. Like, this is not a story that we would know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just different now. Like, that now the information is here, but back then we didn't know that. We just like, yo, relax. I just want to know if I can turn the AC on because damn balls is hot.
Yeah, because I thought I was about to do something. But yeah, like my story wouldn't have hit the news. And as shitty as Sean Reed's Facebook live video presents him in that moment, we wouldn't know about it if he didn't do that.
I mean, that's true, but I don't think we would know about it if the other deaths didn't occur around it. Like, if
I think we still would have saw this one because it's I think it's rare to see.
Nah, look at this motherfucker, dog. Tattoos all over his face, gold teeth, tattoos on his neck. He would have been shot and dead. We wouldn't know shit.
He ain't had no tattoos on his face in the Air Force.
Bro, I'm looking at the picture right now.
All right, maybe I didn't. Okay, I got to see it again. Yeah,
he's got a grill in, tattoos on his neck. Like, this would have been over. This would have happened, and it would not be national news. The reason why it's national news now is because, number one, 2 people died around the same time of his death, and number 2, he put it on Facebook Live, and I mean, it's a story.
Yeah, it's a major story, especially right now. When all news is COVID, it puts a spotlight on anything else that's major.
Yeah.
This shit had me so fucking polarized as coming off the heels of seeing the other one, and I was like, okay, how do I feel about this video coming off of it, watching it? And it was a lot harder for me to sympathize with him off top as it was when I saw Ahmaud get killed. And it was just because of the presentation of it and thinking about it from a court standpoint. They're going to take everything into account, even things that weren't in his control, and try to make him look as bad as possible. And he did a lot of that on his own. I dread what happens in these court proceedings. Nobody wants to bury their son. I can't imagine how I would feel seeing my son behave that way and knowing this had to go to a white court system.
Yeah.
I'd be terrified. I'd be absolutely terrified. Now, something we haven't said yet. I think I already said that the officer was black. Yeah, I did say that. At the end of Sean Reed's video, the detective is heard saying something to the effect, I can't remember the exact phrase right now because I'm fucking heated, to be honest. Looks like a closed casket here, buddy, or something in that realm.
Yeah.
That is going to be the leg they have to stand on as far as it being a shooting. Honestly, I don't give a fuck whether the officer is black or white. I hope it comes back for the sake of the family that some sort of excessive force happened.
Because he said that?
Well, if you kill a man in that way, to me, if you say that, you're not rendering assistance to him either. You're not calling. Did he call for like I need an ambulance or anything of that nature?
I mean,
I didn't hear that.
There was a few motherfuckers out there, so I'm sure it wasn't. There was someone else that could have called an ambulance. But
I hope so.
But
I'm just telling you from what we heard, y'all. This is from what you hear on the goddamn video.
But speaking of scenarios, if he spun and started shooting, and you shoot at me, and I bust your ass, I'm liable to say anything.
Yeah, at that point, I really don't give a fuck. I mean, and I know people, black and white, that are police officers, and you know, if you shooting at me, you didn't want me to be here either. I don't really have sympathy for you in that moment, and I don't know how many of y'all have been around weapons or been in a situation where you felt like your life was in danger.
Yeah.
But all of the faculties, all of the I would have done's, y'all got to stop that shit. Like, that shit goes out the window. That goes all the way out the window. All that logic sense that you have on the outside looking in, it's sort of like watching a football play or something from the outside. Yeah, you can see all the angles, but you're not there in the moment feeling what they're feeling to know exactly what happened in the intricacies of the situation. So a part of me is almost like, if he got shot at first, I gotta forgive him for that one, even though it's fucked up to say because we're watching it.
I'm reading some of this stuff now. They kind of broke out things he was saying during the chase, and
the cop or Sean?
No, Sean.
Okay.
He says one part he says, like, he keeps saying, I almost lost him, and then at one part he says, I'm not going to jail today. But then I know what that means to people that know what that means, right?
Yes, and I was about to say, if you out there and you seen Belly, that's the same thing Bun said, and he wasn't saying that on some I hope I get away.
Yeah. And then another part, the other part that's kind of might lean towards a mental, a deteriorating type of mental state, is he keeps saying, please come get me. Somebody come get my stupid ass. Please come get me. Please come get me. So I don't know, man. I don't know what kind of headspace this kid was in. Fucked up, and then the water got too deep, and he felt like what I'm saying, he had to do something that he didn't have to do. I don't fucking know, man. But it's all crazy.
No, I'm glad you said that, because I kind of got the impression that Sean Reed didn't have his mental faculties about him in this situation. Did you get that impression? Like something, like, I don't know if he was on something at the time, or
maybe, because who does this? Nobody.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, the dumbest motherfucker I'd met in the Air Force isn't doing exactly this. And it seemed to me that something was going on with him psychologically that wasn't normal. And like I said, I'm giving this to y'all from the information we got. I can't wait to find out more. I hope by the time this comes out, like when we do the live, when it premieres on YouTube, or if you listen on Spotify and you want to hit us up on Instagram, however you want to hit us up, in the group, however y'all want to do it, I hope you have more information than we have now between now and when this comes out, and we can talk about it. I would love to know that Sean Reed did absolutely nothing wrong. But from what we're getting, it don't look good. It just don't.
No, it doesn't at all. But are we wrapping this part up?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So the news is, and I got this a little early, but I didn't want to say it and interrupt our flow. But the news is a Georgia man and his son have been charged with murder in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, who was fatally shot while jogging. So they arrested them, two motherfuckers.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. That's good news.
Yeah, man. What the fuck?
And I want y'all to see, like, I want to like really explain. I know normally we don't say when we pod. Normally we try and do it a couple days before it drops on Sunday. All of this happened while we're doing it right now on Thursday. That's how fast this shit's happening. And again, none of this would be happening if somebody didn't come along and film it.
Yep.
That's the world we living in right now. So like when y'all, and when I say y'all, black and white people, we get into these conversations with strangers trying to get them to understand.
And Hispanic people and Asian people.
I know. Like, please don't pull the "well, what about us" card on me right now. You know what the fuck I mean.
I'm just saying.
We have to take into account there are people that I know, man. It's sad you got to do that, right?
I know, man. I know. I'm just saying.
It's so crazy you got to do that, man. So
everybody gets a trophy.
Everybody. So when you go into these situations where you want to try and explain this to people, you don't know what walk of life they're coming from. In my experience, and this is just me, you can't teach somebody something that has never left where they grew up at and was born. It's real hard to get through. Like Marcus was saying, that whole, like, I feel like the closer to the water you get, whatever. I grew up in Virginia Beach. And people go, oh, well, that's Virginia. That's the South. You've been to Virginia Beach. That shit is not the South.
Hell no.
But you can go over a couple of towns or cities over to like Suffolk or Pungo or down Elizabeth City down in North Carolina. Farmville? Out in the building? You're right there in the country. So I grew up by the water. I do not consider Virginia Beach to be the country. But it don't take me long to get to a place where it feels dangerous for me to be there.
Yep. Quick fast.
I remember driving through West Virginia heading up towards Michigan one time by myself. And it was the middle of the night and I needed some gas. And I stopped at one of them gas stations that got like 2 pumps. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And no overcovering or whatever. And when I got out of the car, I felt like I was in danger. And I saw some white people in a truck and they saw me and neither of them got out while I was pumping gas. Nigga, I put 2 gallons of gas in my car and got the fuck on. I didn't stay there.
Yeah.
I felt like if I stay here to fill up my tank, this might be my last fill up. And I don't know. But that's the type of shit we got to think about when we go places.
Yeah. Because you just don't. You don't know. Because there are certain situations. I remember driving through North Carolina and South Carolina plenty of times. And once you get away from those, once you get away from Raleigh and Charlotte and all that shit, start driving around and you're like, yo, okay, I gotta get gas while the sun is up.
Yeah, this ain't it. This ain't the spot.
Think about living your life like that, white people. You driving through some place and you're like, oh, I'm about to quarter a tank. I know where I'm going. Let me go ahead and get some more gas because I don't want to stop in the middle of this rural area and get gas because I don't know what could possibly happen to me just for pumping my gas outside. And let
me tell y'all something. Like, if y'all feel like, well, what if I'm out in the hood? I don't want to stop and get gas there either. Guess what? Me neither.
I don't stop there either.
Like, real talk.
No.
Y'all don't understand.
It's not like a one for one. Like, oh, you get one, we get. No, I don't.
It is not. I don't want to get gas in the hood either, bruh.
Get the fuck out of here.
We've said this before on the pod. There's black people and there's niggas from Chris Rock special.
Yeah.
And we know there's black people that will rob us too. Like,
they'll rob us and not rob white people.
Yes. Real, bruh. I hope there's at least one white person writing this shit down to go let the people know at the next town hall. Like, I'm telling y'all.
Like, no, they rob the white person and the spot get hot because the police show up.
Yep.
Yo, man.
Think about that. Y'all are safer almost getting gas in the hood than we are.
Let me tell you something, dog. Hold on a second. Let me tell you something. When I first moved to DC, I was working down in Southeast DC. Anyone that knows that area knows Southeast is like the worst part of, I won't say the DMV altogether, but it's pretty fucking bad. The first day I get to work, I see like a hand-to-hand drug sale, and I see a guy taking the shit behind a truck in the driveway. There's some crackhead, right? I'm like, this shit's crazy. People getting robbed and shot and shit. So the gentrification starts to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I fucking start coming to work, and I start seeing, white people starting to buy up some of the buildings around where I worked. And these motherfuckers got on like the whole like biking, like the whole fucking Lance Armstrong shit, riding around the fucking crack infested neighborhood. People out there walking little ass dogs and shit. And nobody fucking bats an eye. Like, all the crackheads and all the thieves, they're all robbing the black people. Because they know they lay a fucking hand on one of them white people.
It's a wrap.
It's over. We shut this whole block down.
All the way a wrap.
Whole block gone overnight.
Oh, man.
It's just different.
It's way different, man. Like, when I think about like this type of scenario going on, and I'm gonna just tell a couple quick stories. We're gonna be up out of here, but like as far as this scenario goes, I have a friend that I saw on Facebook Live, and I've never been more afraid that I was about to watch somebody that I broke bread with die on my phone.
Yeah.
He got pulled over by the police, and he started popping off at the mouth because he didn't agree with why he was being pulled over and this and that. Black people, that's not the place you're ever gonna win that argument. Like, and I'm not saying that on some just be goods and boss will let you go home. I would much rather. I'm trying to lighten this shit up. This was a heavy fucking hour. I would much rather see you survive that encounter and fight this shit in court. I love y'all, man. I love all of y'all, whether we grew up the same or not. I don't want to see nobody down the side of the road like that. And there was a point in the video where somebody that I know is a lot smarter than that was hot in the moment, and the cop told him he couldn't drive off and he needed to put somebody else behind the wheel. He wasn't intoxicated or nothing like that. And he looked at the cop while the camera's on and was like, and who gonna stop me from leaving? You? And proceeds to hold and that bruh. All right, now from somebody you don't know him. I know this man. When I heard that, as much as I thought in my head, this nigga wildin', I was like, I'm about to watch my friend pass away. You feel that? Like,
no, because you
I went to a different place because I knew them. I don't know Sean Reed.
But now you know what
But I
can
still
happen.
went to that place because I've seen it before. And I saw it in front of me from somebody that was doing it. And he almost reached for the door handle to get out. I was like, this might be the last time I see my boy.
Now you know what can happen. Because you know that
it don't end well normally.
Motherfuckers just getting blasted out here, and they're not like you said. They're shooting to kill you. This is not some shit where they're shooting you in your fucking leg. Like what with the video? I can't remember what my man's name was, but I saw a video a couple years back. This guy's running. He's running away from the cop. The cop draws his gun and shoots him in the back fucking 8 times.
Yeah.
The guy, my man that was the healthcare worker, the mental health worker, out there trying to get this dude who has a mental issue back inside. Somebody calls the cop, says, hey, there's 2 guys out in the street. One of them's got a gun. The black dude is laying on his fucking back with his hands up in the air and gets shot anyway. It's just different. It's just different. It's just different. It's different. It's different, man. It's different.
It's
2020, man. 20 and we're still doing this thing. And here, like, to take it back to episode whatever the fuck, 2 or whatever it was.
Episode whatever the fuck. Go ahead.
When we were talking about the Harriet thing and people saying that, oh, well, there wasn't any like they're trying to make white people out to be the saviors or whatever. And we said, look, back in that time, you needed the help of other people that were not black to help you get someplace.
You wanted a white savior in your corner.
This is, and we said back then is still now. Like, as black people, we can't do this by ourselves. It's not going to be a black only led thing that, and the fucking world changes and sees us differently.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
We need some people on our side. All other shapes, sizes, colors, and whatever the fuck else. Like, we need other people to help, because they don't give a fuck about. They obviously don't care about our faces being on the fucking pavement. They do not care
Not at all.
There has to be some white people that hold our hand, some fucking Hispanic people that hold our hand, because we're going through the same shit now. Welcome to America, okay? There has to be some fucking Asians that hold our hand with this shit. Fucking Canadians, whatever the fuck else. Like, we need more help. It can't just be us, because just us doesn't fucking work.
On every thread I've ever seen with this conversation happening in Facebook and Instagram, anywhere, for me, and it's just what I see, it falls on deaf ears to most of the Caucasian community until somebody white speaks up in that same comment section.
Yeah.
And two things happen. White people attack them, the ones that want to just keep the narrative going, or the person that's speaking up doesn't understand that the black people, the African Americans that are in that situation, are already on a razor's edge with everything that's been happening. So choose your words very carefully, because it can get misconstrued very quickly.
Yeah.
And you might have the best of intentions and misspeak. Don't take that as we hate all white people. Take it as you still don't understand exactly what you're saying.
That's all. I mean, and it's hard for you to. Like, I don't understand white privilege. Some people and white people don't understand that they have it.
They don't. That's what I say. They don't get that it's something that they just wake up with. When they go outside, right, they don't have to worry about the same shit I got to worry about.
And just like there are these things happening, I've had conversations with people about Trayvon Martin, and in the moment, I was too angry to articulate myself correctly.
Yes.
Because I'm like, how do you not understand what the fuck I'm saying to you? How do you not? Well, he should have just stopped and let the man. You want your son to fucking stop? Let some random motherfucker tell him to get on the fucking ground until the police come? Because he says your son has been stealing? When your son was just fucking walking? He's been stalking your kid around this fucking neighborhood, and your advice to your kids are, when a stranger approaches you, when an adult approaches you, do what they say to do. Really?
Mm-hmm.
What happened to stranger danger and all that shit?
Yeah, stranger danger. Like, that's not. We can't go by that. We can't go by that in that situation.
Apparently, because we are strangers, nigga.
Because all of us are stranger things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're listening to this, I don't know if you have kids or not. Marcus, I know we've talked about your son, my godson,
yes.
my two boys. You're not at the point yet where you have to have these types of conversations with him.
Right.
I have.
Yeah.
And I had them earlier than I thought I would have to. But I watched The Hate U Give with my kids. I felt like it was important for them to see it. Watch a 7-year-old cry watching that movie and tell me it don't change you.
Right.
And I'm saying that because at the time he was a little bit younger, and my older son, he's always been super bright on picking up things of a worldly nature that I can't understand. Old folks will be like, that boy been here before. He been here before.
Yeah. Old soul.
And then I think after that movie went off, we had like an hour-long conversation where, actually before the movie went off, there's a scene in that movie where the black parents are having to explain what to do in front of police if you get pulled over at dinner time. That is a conversation that I've asked white people. Did your parents ever have to tell you like how to act when the cops? And they'd be like, no, why? And they look at me like, what a stupid conversation to have.
Yeah.
That's white privilege.
That's wild, right? Like, you got to tell your kid what
to do so that you can come home and then I can fight for you later. But I want to see you again.
Yeah, man.
It's absolutely fucking crazy that
it's
has
fucking
to
rough, man. It's 2020, bro.
I got a homeboy that is half black, half white. I call him Blade.
Because
Because
Daywalker.
he's a day walker. Because he's half black, but he looks 98% white. I was like, you got all of their strengths and none of the weaknesses, bro.
Yeah, you got all the good shit.
You got all the good shit. And we used to jokingly say it. I was talking to him about this shit today, and I was like, man, me and you was in Chicago doing fucking comedy. And a situation came up that's a much longer story. I'm not going to do it now.
Yeah.
Where I was like, we got to go. And he was like, why? And I remember saying, because I'm going to get shot.
Yeah, you're going to be fine.
You're going to be you're going to Uber on out of here, buddy.
Yeah, you can be A-okay.
Somebody remind me that listens to the pod faithfully. I will gladly tell that story. Maybe we'll have him on one day so we can explain the dumb shit he did to almost get me killed trying to live my dream. Y'all have no idea how easily your life is better because of a tone that you can't control in your fucking pigment. Like, it's nuts. It's nuts. It's nuts. If you, I know we got white listeners. If this shit is heavy for you, I want to say something right now. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be.
Yeah. I mean,
and I know you've probably heard it before. I know you're listening to me like, we get it. You don't. I'm
you
sorry.
You can get it. I want you to fucking care. You can get it all you want. I want you to fucking care. If you fucking care about me, I need you to care about this shit. You can't say that you got black friends, you care about black people, and you don't care about this shit.
Because silence, when this type of shit happens on y'all's pages, is a lot louder than all of us saying it happened again. It speaks volumes. And then when I see like one of my white friends like speak up about it, like one of my favorite people that I've met in this business, one of the best bookers that put me up, I'm not going to say his name. I was shocked to see him, even though I know how he feels and I know he's a good man, white man. He commented on a post I made about it, and it made me appreciate him that much more because I know he gets it and he wasn't afraid to say something. That's big. Just opening your mouth one time. Major. Absolutely major.
I think it's kind of funny how you said that, though.
What you mean?
Like you work for that nigga. Like he was like, he's a good man, white man.
Well, okay.
I don't know. It just stuck out to me. He's a good man, white man. Like what the
See, and look, somebody listening is gonna hear it the way you heard it. So I'm glad.
That's why I'm glad you said that. He's a good man.
No,
white
I'm
man.
glad you said that. Like
he's a good man, black man,
white good man, black man. Yeah. Okay, well, I say that to emphasize the fact that, like, I have bookers of all nationalities, and the fact that he said something when he didn't have to, that's the key. Like, don't say something because you're called out. I didn't tag white people. I didn't go, hey, y'all need to let me know how you feel about this. The ones that just speak up, I appreciate that, and I would say the black community appreciates that because it's a voice that we absolutely cannot have.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man. I think I'm done. I don't know what else to say on it without getting into a soapbox more. But yeah,
I think we've said everything that we need to say about it.
Yeah.
Now if we just get something done about it, that'd be fucking fantastic.
That would be absolutely great. I know, we've heard, trust me, we get all the analytics about what we're doing as a podcast. But when I tell you Marcus and I are building something better than let me get up here and tell y'all jokes out of my set in podcast form, I'd refuse to do that. When shit is funny, it's gonna be funny. But we're building a show here. We get all the feedback, good and bad, about this show. We get all the opinions from people that haven't even heard it either. So, it's great that, y'all are engaging and letting us know. If we can get super silly with y'all, I feel like we owe it to y'all to take a pause and have these types of conversations too, or why would you give us credibility?
We have to. It's not just for black culture. It's just like a humanity thing. It's for our culture. It's for everybody. Like if you're cool with, okay, like this right here. Like I can't be cool with Mexican kids being separated from their parents at the border and being locked up in cages. but then want people to care about this part right here.
Exactly. Like, I don't have to have experienced that to understand somebody else is going through something. And for whatever reason, that's how it comes across online.
Yeah.
Is, well, that ain't my life. So fuck it. Until it crosses your doorstep and now you wondering why it's happening to you. I didn't have the experiences Marcus had growing up. He didn't have mine. But I don't need to have gone through it to know it's happening.
Yeah, man.
And that's the disconnect. So let's talk about accountability from people that you listen to, like y'all listen to us. This is a question that was posed in the Illegal Opinions podcast group a while ago, and I didn't know how to answer it. And this actually made me go, yeah, we need to address this shit.
Okay.
Listener of the pod, faithful listener of the pod, came out and asked, how much, to me and Marcus, how much are you willing to give of yourselves to the podcast? And at first I was like, what does that even mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I supposed to, like, John Legend sing to y'all? You can have all me.
please give me more of that. Give it up.
He love that girl. He wrote a whole hit song. Like,
oh man, that pussy good, boy. That pussy make you
pussy. But so I was like, what does that mean? What do you mean? What do you want us to give? So, Marcus and I, you know, we listen to a few different podcasts, and then not even people that are doing podcasts, like people, period, you know. It made me go, oh, okay. What he was asking was, the entertainers that I follow, I expect a certain amount of transparency from them.
Yeah.
And I expect a certain amount of honesty from them.
Yeah.
I think me and Marcus have talked about, like, every now and then we give sprinkles of how we met and shit like that, but we've never really gotten into it. So I'm curious to know, like, leave in the comments, let me know, what is it y'all expect to hear from us as far as our genesis, or how we decided to do this, or anything at all, personal life.
This nigga said Genesis.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you know, the beginning, you know?
Sega. That's what I thought when you said that shit.
That's Sega.
Yo, Alter Beast out this motherfucker.
Hey, when that shit came on, you knew that night was about to be popping.
Oh yeah.
But for real, how much of us do you expect to give? Like how much of your personal life are you willing to give to what we're doing now? I got an answer, but I'm curious what you think.
I'll give all of my personal shit, most of it at least. I will give what I can and make sure that the people that might be surrounding a situation I'm talking about are safe. Like, I'm not gonna jump out. Like, when I say a friend of mine told me, I'm not gonna say their name, because now I don't want somebody out there like trying to figure out who the fuck I'm talking about and then trying to friend them and follow them or whatever else. But I'll give you like a good 98% of the shit I go through and what I'm going through and what I'm doing. A lot of things that I do aren't. A lot of things I do aren't really framed for the podcast right now. We haven't gotten to an episode where we're going to talk about like this part of what I'm getting into or that part of what I'm getting into. But my personal life is pretty open. The people that need to know certain shit know it.
Right.
The stories I tell are true. Like, these aren't made up stories I tell people about myself. This is not like what was that shit that Usher said when he wrote Confessions and people got mad? He was like, well, these aren't my stories. These are other people's stories. No, these are my stories that I tell on here. This is me.
Yeah.
I'll tell a story. Like, if it involves you and I, then yeah, I will say your name because you're on the pod. But otherwise, I don't really throw my friend's name around like that. I don't throw my kid's name around like that, just because, like, what the fuck for? I mean, you're getting what's important. I'm gonna give you what's important. I'm not gonna give you every fucking intricate detail of where and when and why and how and what time and shit like that. But the important stuff you get, and that's what I plan on bringing to this shit, is just integrity. As long as you have integrity, there's no reason for you to go back and have to wonder what you said before. Like, if I say what the fuck I meant, and if I tell the truth here, I don't have to go back, 10 episodes from now saying,
and backtrack on it.
Shit, well, what did I say back then? Like, no, this is real shit. Like, I'm giving y'all some real fucking shit over here. As far
let me stop you there.
Okay.
All right. So Now, I know you're saying that from the standpoint of a genuine, that I agree with everything you just said. However, and I think we said this in earlier pods, this is Marcus's first like step out into doing something in the entertainment realm, and I've been doing it for about 8-9 years here. So I had a small following already. However, I'm not famous. Ask my kids, they'll say I'm famous. I'm like, bruh, trust me. But
Right.
you know, if we got to the point where we're like up there with these number one podcasts that are nationwide, everybody's listening. So now, maybe not paparazzi, but people are in your business because for whatever reason, all of us feel like we're entitled to our celebrities that we follow's business.
Right.
And then some scandal comes out, or not even. Let me back up. Not even a scandal. Just some. This is what's going on in Marcus's personal life. Just some shit.
Right.
So just some shit. Are you obligated to come on this pod and explain your side to people that already know the parts they think they've heard from whatever tabloid or news story?
Yeah.
If you feel like you at that point they're entitled to your business?
If this is what we do, like this is a media outlet.
Right.
If I'm out here keeping it real, if I'm gonna say I'm out here keeping it fucking real, when some shit jumps out and whether it's true or false, I have to say something about that shit because I want to be genuine and honest to the people that are listening to us. I don't want. Let's do it like this. If our pod was built off of pop culture and the rumor mill and tweets and who's saying what and people's fucking mentions and trying to put that, like if we were built on using other people's business to build our business, if some shit came out about me,
man, I'm glad you said that. I know where you're going. Go ahead.
I would have to say something because I can't just integrity wise. I can't build our shit. Our news is based off of fucking what somebody else did and what they may not have done, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then when some shit comes my way, I say, nah, I'm gonna beat around the bush about that shit.
Right, because now you look like a hypocrite.
I look like a fucking clown. Like I would think I look like a clown. Like I'm a bitch ass motherfucker for coming out here and I could talk about what whoever celebrity or whatever the fuck socialite is doing. But then when it comes to what Marcus is doing, Marcus is gonna beat around the bush and I'm gonna dance around that shit. I can't. And you're in the
same. Yeah, and you're in the same arena as them. That's when I think that the switch happens. Like, fortunately, and this is I'm gonna get to this too. Well, let me fucking say it. Somebody told me that at first they weren't gonna check out Illegal Opinions podcast because I was a comedian. Okay, that was the most important piece of analytics I got in the last week. And the reason I say that is because it made me think. I was like, well, what would make somebody say that? And they go, well, the other comedians that I've heard, and I'm not going like shit on nobody's pod. Do your thing. A lot of them are not that good for the simple fact they're just taking their set that to me is dumb in and of itself. And that's just me, my opinion. If it's your set that you get paid for, why are you giving up for free on the pod? Early on, like that should be your intellectual property over there. They thought they were going to come in here, do Sam Ridley's set for an hour and a half every week.
And what am I doing? Like clapping and laughing and shit?
Yes, and that's honestly what a lot of them are. That's what a lot of them are, bro. And how corny would you feel sitting over there doing that?
Man, I don't know how that would sound, but it would be really fucked up.
I know how it would sound. Stupid.
That too. Nigga, I would sound stupid.
Yeah. like you said, Harry Lennox sound. Right.
Dog, wait, hold on. You know who I realized sounds just like that nigga over the weekend?
Who?
Anita Baker.
Oh man, she was the most wine. Sweet Hey, she was the first mumble singer, dog.
Yo.
We got mumble rappers. She was the first mumble rapper, dog.
Oh my god. I was like, what the I remember being young and driving to Pensacola with my parents. And they turn on that old shit in the morning. And you're going over there. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? I'm like,
Man.
yo, what is she saying?
Bruh,
Anyway,
she was whining, boy.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
And don't get me wrong, I love the queen. She's a legend, but boy, she was whining. She was Keith Sweat before Keith Sweat, boy. Oh man, but yeah, dog. Like,
shout out to Anita Baker.
Shout out to Anita Baker, yeah. You know, the queen.
Oh shit!
Can't wait to see you on The Masked Singer.
Oh man,
you know, that's the next step. That's the next step. But yeah, so this conversation, this shit about accountability, man.
Yes,
like, I never want to come off to y'all like I'm trying too hard to make you laugh. When some funny shit just happens, cool. When we have conversations about some ratchet shit, cool. You got to be able to do the serious shit we started with to do this. I really believe that, because even comedy is derived from serious shit.
It's making something serious. It's a ride. Like
there's a sketch on or not a sketch. I went to do a short film in LA, and there's a sketch or from that short film, I got pulled over by the police afterwards. And there's a whole bit in it in my comedy routine, but at the time it was some serious shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of it is derived from something serious. Are you ever going to hear that bit on this show? Absolutely not. You'll hear it when you come see me. You know what I'm saying? Like, in a real forum. That type of shit should be separate to me. Yeah. So here, we going to get the real talk and whatever sprinkles come with it. All the ad-libs that me and Marcus done made up, we ain't write them shits. We didn't sit down and go, what would be funny? We was like, let's have this convo and talk to our people, man. Like, it's nuts.
It's about integrity, man.
So when we're listening to pods that we listen to, and they start beating around the bush about their personal shit when, you know, some shit happened, but their pod is centered around
gossip,
and they don't want to talk about theirs, it's like, oh, okay.
I just think that's some whole shit, man. I just think that's some whole shit.
It is.
And like I don't want to. We're not going to say what it's called, right? So, because it's not about the people. It's just about the way that the
it's not about them at all.
It's the way the subject is approached when you make a living. It's kind of like a very popular talk show host that has a daytime show, and she's black, right? She makes a living. Okay. What? I don't even. Well, whatever.
Herm
makes Herm. Don't do that, Herm.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, she makes a living off of gossip. Her whole show is built off gossip. Then when it comes out that she's a fucking drug addict, we don't want to get into that part.
Yeah, that got glazed over, right? Like, shit like that. That to me is when it becomes like disingenuous. Like, if some scandal happened with me, and y'all been following me for, you know, we've been out for 3 months. Let's say we're 5 years in. You've been listening to me from the top, and then you read about some shit from me somewhere else. And then I get up here with Marcus, and I'm like, so how about, did you see that movie that came out this week? I would expect y'all to jump in the comments and be like, oh, really?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, our podcast isn't even centered around other people's drama. Like, when other shit pops up that's pertinent in the news, yeah, we bring it up. But that's not our focal point. I never go, hey, man, what'd you hear in the news? Let's talk about it. About a specific celebrity.
Yeah.
If our podcast was centered around that, I'd expect to be fried. I expect it.
But you expect to smoke. And let me tell you how I thought about this whole situation. It's going to be the long way around. Everybody just sit back and just ride with your boy, okay?
Hey.
So I'm watching one of my favorite things, which is ESPN The Ocho. You know what The Ocho is?
Yeah.
I love that shit. They play it like twice a year, maybe. This year's been a little more frequent because of what's happening. They have no sports. And I'm watching that shit thinking, man, I love sports, by the way. For people that think that, you know, whatever. I love sports. I just don't feel the need to be a fanatic about it anymore. And so as I'm watching The Ocho, I'm thinking, damn, I wish ESPN would play more of this shit. Like, I would love to see dodgeball and fucking seed spitting and fucking archery with people's feet and fucking robot volleyball. Like, all that shit is fucking super entertaining to me. Right? It's more entertaining than watching like fucking the Clippers play the fucking Cavs. Like I don't care about that. But yeah, I do want to see the people that throw the cheese down the hill and motherfuckers chasing after it. Like that's just way more funny. So I'm watching this shit and I'm thinking like I'm so glad I'm not like a hardcore sports fan because they're going through it. And then I start thinking like, but are they going through it? Because a lot of these people that cheer for teams, everybody like 80% of people have shitty teams that they cheer for. There's 20%.
Absolutely.
There's 20% that win everything, and there's 80% of all of us that are just like kind of hoping to get to the playoffs. And I'm like, well, maybe they don't care as much. But then I had another train of thought, this little choo-choo train, right? Of, God damn. I remember when people would talk really great about their team, right? Like, man, my team is the best. My team is this, that, and the third, fucking blah, 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 blah. Everybody is waiting for your team to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So all that shit you've been talking about, all these other teams, when your team loses, people coming after you.
Yeah, but you gotta own it though.
But you gotta own it. You have to own that shit. You know you've been talking shit. You gotta own that shit now. And I mean, and people that make a living, people that make a fucking living off of other people's fucking pain, when it's time for you to be in pain,
yeah, if you can't own that pain, I got nothing else to hear from you.
Nah. Like, what
and
the fuck you got to talk about?
And don't get me wrong. It sucks. It's got to. I 100% believe it has got to suck to get on your own shit and have to explain yourself to people instead of you just talking to them. It's got to go both ways.
It's got to.
I'm saying that now as us being a young pod, and I see great things for us. I really do. Call me delusional. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to chase this dream. But I expect y'all to hold us to that. Unless it's like some legal shit that we can't say.
Right. That's different.
That's different. You know, like that's a whole different thing. But honestly, as long as I'm allowed to say that too, I mean, I don't know. I'm not in no scenarios. I would 100% say I legally cannot say. And I expect you to be like, all right, cool for now.
Right. But also the thing about the thing about not the thing about making your living based off of that kind of shit and then not approaching that subject when it's your turn to be on the fucking fire, when you don't treat it the way you should, when you don't become as vulnerable as you should be and talk about the shit the way you need to fucking talk about it, when you don't, now you can't go back to being that same kind of host, show, fucking artist, whatever.
But at that point, you've lost your credibility to me.
You lost your cred. You lost your cred to me. You lost your cred to me.
Now I know that when the shit hits the fan the opposite way, you're going to turn a blind eye to your own nonsense that we're all reading from other news outlets.
Yeah.
And then go on to keep gossiping about other people? No.
Now you can't. Now you can't do that. You can't go back to gossiping about the other shit when you've skipped over your shit. Like, no, you can't fucking go back to talking fucking loose.
Yeah. Okay. Now let me ask you this. So how much of that plays into how much you ride for a celebrity? And what I mean by that, let me explain. Let's say they don't do the talk show thing.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna use Kevin Hart as an example because I saw a lot of people be like, I'm not listening to him anymore. I'm not following his comedy anymore because of the infidelity situation.
Okay.
And the only reason he made a whole fucking documentary about this shit on Netflix. So does that affect how you see his artistry as a comedian? Or do you not give a fuck because they're two separate things?
To me, he's the documentary in that portion. To me, I lose respect for him as just being stand-up. Just being more of a stand-up guy. Because in the doc, he is talking about, if my friends were there, this wouldn't have happened. Like, now you're kind of like parsing the blame between you and people that should have been there.
I wasn't feeling that. I wasn't feeling that part.
Like, that's different. But as a comedian, me laughing at you has nothing to do with you being lesser of a guy over here.
And see, I agree with that, but I saw a lot of females being like, well, I can't enjoy his comedy anymore. And I'm like, why not?
Why not? Because
his comedy has never been a derivative of his relationships. Like, if you think he doing some trifling shit.
Oh, yeah.
Right. These young, That is a fucking weird world that you're talking about, and think about the shit that's not publicized. To me, it's hypocritical. It's like the chick that's going, "Oh my god, that celebrity cheated," knowing that she letting like 9 dudes smash on the regular, and nobody's devoid of any of that. Like a lot of people do a lot of trifling shit when nobody knows, but because he's in the limelight, you're holding him to a fidelity standard when you were never holding him to that before. You was holding him to put a funny special out.
That's it. Like, I'm looking at you to make me laugh, motherfucker. But
that's it.
Like, you're the comedian. Like, if I found out Kevin Hart is stealing jokes,
that's where I would have a problem.
That's the problem. Like, your job is over here. Like, your place in my life, entertainment wise, is over here. But if you claim to be the realest motherfuckers on the planet, on this other side, and then when some shit happens, y'all turn out to not be the realest motherfuckers on the planet, okay, that's different.
You saw how fast we dropped Milli Vanilli? Like,
word.
Bruh. And we still we still rode to Blame It on the Rain for a minute, and then it was like, damn, this shit ain't even them no more.
I mean, we still fuck with Drake, and Drake came out to have a ghostwriter, and people still like, yo, we fucking, I still like that shit.
Yeah. Did you like that new quote unquote album that he put out just now?
No.
Why you say it like that?
Why you say it like that? Because I was trying to think about it as is it an album or not, and I don't think it's an album. I think it's just a bunch of shit he had laying around on the floor and put it on an Apple. But I don't.
Yeah, I didn't even get through it, and I was excited about it.
Anytime somebody drops some shit at midnight, you get excited. Like, oh shit, they drop shit at midnight? Okay.
Well, like, we know Drake is known to just put a project out. You know what I'm saying?
He could do that.
So because he can do that, he's the biggest thing right now. So like when I heard about it, I was like, shit, I wonder how this shit gonna ride. You know what I'm saying? And what's it called? Dark Lane Demo Tapes, I think it's called.
Yeah.
The actual album or whatever. I think it's the Chicago Freestyle, the one that has the sample from Song Cry in it.
Oh, that's hard.
That shit is hard.
Yeah.
And that's the Drake I like. That's the Drake that made me, like the mixtape Drake was the guy that I started listening to. And then when he would come out, like my favorite song on one of his first projects was Fireworks. And it was the intro. I was like, when he starts talking about something, not just, and don't get me wrong, like the motto is cool. The motto rides.
But at least Keys came on that joint, boy. Woo.
But when he start talking about something, I'm like, he can be vulnerable in a way a lot of rappers can't. I was excited for this project because I was like, if the direction he's going is the Chicago Freestyle, I'm all in.
Well, I think that project when he drops is going to be fucking insane.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be stupid.
If this is the shit you put out that you weren't going to use,
that you didn't give a damn about, bro. A part of me was like, why is Chicago Freestyle in the rest of this bullshit?
Man, it's gonna be fucking crazy. Like, but here's one thing. I know me and you, like, we have jokes about Drake, like, inside, off mic, right? But the one thing that like, I remember when you made that video of what Drake music does to you, like, the whole joint where you were finna go holler at Shorty, right, at her crib,
Go to my YouTube channel, motherfuckers. Like, I'm telling you some shit up there.
Sam Ridley the Third Comedy. Or is it Sam Ridley Comedy?
Just Sam Ridley Comedy.
Sam Ridley Comedy. Sam Ridley Comedy. Go there, check that shit out. But we had a conversation after that video. And I'm like, man, that's funny, but I still respect the fuck out of Drake because name a more honest rapper.
Honestly, bro, I made it honest rapper. When I made that video, it was because that album was super dope that I'm clowning. That album was super dope. Yeah. And I remember doing it and being like, for real, I hope this make people listen to some of his shit because like this album is talking to me.
Insane.
I'm
looking forward to it.
Yeah. This one right here, it ain't it. I gotta put it in the same bucket as DaBaby's project as far as it not being as good as Kirk. It's just something you put out during the pandemic.
It's right now. Like, I think, and we talked about that too. Like,
the
fact
and I want to do a deep dive on music.
No, we're not gonna do that, man. Yeah. But the baby thing, when it came out, I listened to it that night, and I was like, I'm not really feeling it. I expressed that to you, And then the next day I listen to it again. I'm like, well, it's not bad. But if this is shit he just had laying around,
then his project should be stupid when it comes out.
yeah, like if this was
And
just
it
had,
still went number one. That's important to note. It still went number one.
If this is what you had just laying around on the floor, and you're like, well, I'll give these niggas this stuff. I'm gonna pick that one up and that one. Then yeah, that's cool. He threw on a bullshit project. He threw a song with Meg Thee Stallion and Ashanti on it.
On a bullshit project.
On just some, there's some trash. Not trash, but just not what I'm expected to get from somebody that raps like that.
Yeah, so, like, long story short, like, check out Drake if you like the Drake project, and there are some cuts up there that will make your playlist, but it's not, like...
Don't be out there making no fucking TikToks now.
Yeah, it's not Take Care, it's not Views, but it's a solid little, all right, thank you for that. When the rest comes, I'll actually eat. Like, thanks, buddy. But
yeah, right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so like I said, we're doing the podcast backwards. So when normally we start with like the how was your weekend? Your boy was in Facebook jail. So
word?
Yeah, man.
Anybody sing you no kite? Anybody sing you no kite, my nigga?
Ain't nobody putting no money on my commissary or nothing, dog. I saw some people making memes of your boy.
Anybody poke you or nothing, did it? You good?
Nah. Right, I'm two toothbrushes up fighting off the sisters. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. You just making memes of you.
Oh man, like people had pictures of me in D Block with Jadakiss and like it's all love. I love y'all, man. Like but for 3 days I couldn't comment, but I could see everything. You know, like I could see everything happening in Illegal Opinions group. I could see everything happening on Facebook, but I couldn't say shit. I couldn't emote. I couldn't do none of that. But what I learned about me, look, when you're in jail, you got time to reflect.
Oh yeah, did you read the Quran or some shit?
You know what I'm saying? Oh, you a Muslim now?
Rest in peace, Pac.
Yeah, rest in peace, Pac, man. I learned how much I open Facebook, not realizing I'm opening Facebook.
What do you mean?
Like, almost muscle memory. Pick up your phone and scroll. And I think it was the second day, and I got up there and I was scrolling, looking at stuff, and then I saw something that interested me, and I went to like put a laugh, like, emoji on it, and Facebook let me know you in jail, bruh. Like
locked up.
Yep. Commissary is getting in there. I really I was like. Shit. Like, you know, they'd be like, he was like, I can't wait to get out and move forward in my life. I was like, that motherfucker's spitting. I would do that, and what happens when you're in Facebook jail, you push a button to do something inside of it, and it takes you back to the screen showing you what you did.
Yeah. Oh, word? What'd you do?
All right, man. Y'all got to stop doing this shit, man.
This nigga, look at you already Kevin Hart, and somebody set you up, nigga.
You know what I should have did? Remember when Kevin came up with that video? It was all close to his face.
Yeah. Oh,
he was all, "Hey y'all, I messed up." You know, I should have did that, bro.
Kevin gonna kill you, nigga.
I know, right? Look, I love you, man. Give me a job. give me a plastic cup.
Give me two, nigga.
I know. Look, let my boy in too. Somebody in the Facebook group posted a picture of a vagina, but it wasn't like a pornographic picture. It was like a black and white drawing, and it was like, I bet most men don't know what a clitoris is or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I posted under it with a picture that I got from Facebook, and it got flagged immediately by the app itself because there's a lot less humans to do this stuff right now because of COVID-19. So it wasn't like somebody reported me. It was a straight app flag. And it was like, you can't put that type of picture up there. And I was like, bitch, I got it from Facebook. One
pussy is okay, but not two pussies.
But it wasn't even a pussy. Well, it was a lot of pussies. But so you know the ugly frog?
Yo.
It was the ugly frog, but somebody had like memed it to where the eyes was like some fat, pretty pussies, actually. And then a real ugly one for the mouth. Like a roasted carved ham one for the mouth.
Bruh.
And but it didn't look like it unless you look close, and I guess they flagged it or whatever. So I did a 72-hour bid. I'm a changed man. I'm rehabilitated.
Man, I was watching I was watching Goop on Netflix. It's what the fuck is her name? Pepper Potts.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can't think of her name.
Well,
She
yeah.
sold the coochie smelling candle or whatever.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know that. That's new news.
Yeah,
So
she did.
So I'm watching that shit, and there's one episode. It's called Goop, if I didn't say that. But it's one episode where they're trying to teach women how to masturbate. Well, how to appreciate their what the fuck was it? Because they said that the vulva, whatever the fuck, the Volvo and the Volvo and the vagina are not the
It ain't
same.
got a transmission in it. Like,
I hope it don't got no transmissions in there.
oh, here's the problem. It's your
Here's
trans.
the problem, bitch. You got some clitoris. You got some chlamydia in here. Not clitoris in here. There's a clitoris, and there better be a clitoris.
There should be some of that, Marcus.
There
Like,
better be at least one clitoris in there.
You ever hit one that had like the real big one that kind of get hard and pop out like a small penis?
Like a little baby penis.
Like, yeah.
Like, wait, you got me sidetracked, nigga. So, so they were saying like, don't call the pussy a vagina. The vagina is where the babies come out. The Volvo is where the action happens. And then they started showing like a bunch of different pictures of the Volvos, and like the first three were okay, but then them last three Volvos, woo,
those were problems,
man. But they were trying to show like, you know, the pussies look different, right?
Yeah.
And like, you know, women's Volvos look different. You know, there's this and that. There's so it showed like 6 different pictures. The first three were okay. Them last 3, I mean, one of them bitches looked like Michael Jordan with the tongue out. I'm like, oh my god, like who the fuck is? One looked like it was like the lips was out in the front, right? But then the part where the clit is was like 3 inches like inside. I'm like, yo, who the fuck?
Hey, but real talk,
is rolling that shit back?
Tell me you ain't never had no good ugly pussy.
Good ugly pussy.
Like, all of it ain't cute, but some of, like, all right, you ever had somebody cook for you and it didn't look appetizing, but you was like, yo, this shit good, but it just ain't plated right. Like, some
pussy's not plated right.
Yeah, it just ain't plated right. Like, you know, like you could have wiped off the edges, you know, put some fucking aioli on the top.
I don't know, like, man. Like, if your pussy look wrecked, I just kind of take that as a sign of too much wear and tear.
No, but see, everything ain't created equal, like you said. Some of them ain't pretty, but it might still be good. Like, that's all on the outside. It's what's on the inside that counts.
I've seen some, like, small ones. Like, damn, your pussy's little. I'm about to fuck you up.
It's little. You seen a big one? Like, what the fuck?
I've seen some fat pussies now. I've seen some good.
Not fat, big.
But no, fat pussy and small. Look, what I mean by small is like the line on the Volvo was real short. And
oh, okay.
Yeah, like the runway was real short takeoff, and then it went right into the vagina, the Volvo, right? Whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Right. So
right,
they gonna kill us.
Oh man, they gonna kill. This your topic.
I didn't mean to talk. When you start talking about the frog eye pussies, and I was like, oh, okay. I remember watching the Goop. They had.
I was talking about how I got banned from Facebook
because of pussy.
Over 2 cute ones and an ugly one that was a mouth.
It's probably the ugly one that got your ass out of here, nigga.
They was probably like, oh, nah, son.
Oh,
like, we don't roll like this.
You're not going to put that Matumbo pussy on here and think you can just get away with that shit.
But yeah, all right, yeah, let's get off of this. Like, when that really did. It was a rough, and I was shocked at how much I missed it. The interaction with people.
Yeah.
People started ganging up on you in the opinions group.
God, don't gang up on me.
And it was weird. It was like, yo, I don't know if y'all know, but like he the savage. I'm the laid back one on the pod.
But I don't want to do that though. Like I'm in the group and I have fun in the group, but I don't want to feel like, because I don't know. I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable by how I might say something to them, because I don't want people to feel like we'll pull the trigger, because if we get into it, I'll pull the trigger on you and get you the fuck out of here.
Right, and that's not the case.
I can say some. I mean, you know me. And I have a way to put words to make people feel a way. And I try not to in the group because this is more of a space for them. Not a space for us. So I don't really want to, I love the group. I love the conversations that we have in there. Legal Opinions Podcast fan group. Jump your ass in there right now.
Love y'all.
Straight up. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I want to speak to that, and we can get ready and wrap up. But this will be like the part where we divulge a little bit about me and Marcus. I've known him for fucking ever. I don't even know how long anymore.
It's been a long time.
Let me tell y'all something. I still can't tell when he's pissed off.
Oh man!
All right, like
and this trait to have.
I know, but this is what I mean by that. And somebody else brought this to my attention that just listens to the show that's only known Marcus for 3 months. Marcus talks passionately about everything. And when I say everything, like we just had a very, very in-depth conversation about the atrocities in the black community, right? He was mad. That's Marcus at fucking 15 out of 10. Like if you like, oh, is he on 10? No, he's at 15 when we go there.
Yeah.
Me and him had a conversation last week about creative differences about what we're doing now. And I was like, shit, this might be our last podcast. Because, and I was like, he is mad right now. And I remember I was sitting here and my son was like, Dad, what's wrong? And I was like, me and your godfather just having a dispute right now, man. But I was sitting there like, yo, he hot. So when I replied to you, I was like, hey, man, I don't know why you so hot right now, but like, check it out. And then you replied, and this shit stuck in my head. You said, maybe I sound more passionate than you think I am. Oh, no, you said, maybe you think I care more than I do right now. And you laughed when you said it. And I was like, why is he laughing at me?
Oh, a crazy person, man. I don't know,
man. I'm sitting over here concerned. But yo, when I tell you one of the things I love about my man 100 grand Marcus Palmer, he the same OG. And I've known him back then to do the same shit. I think the first thing you said to me when we met is, nigga, what you doing out here?
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Do you want to tell that?
We might, like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's end on that. Go ahead.
I don't want to end on that. I got a question. I got 2 questions, nigga.
All right, go ahead. Go with your questions. Go ahead.
All right. We'll end on that story. So,
are the questions inside of that story about where we met?
Nigga, no.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So
that's how we'll open next episode.
I thought about you over the weekend, unfortunately, right?
Aww.
So I was watching Mission Impossible. Here's me and my stupid movie take again. I'm watching Mission Impossible. The first one.
Okay.
Now, for everyone listening to this, you don't know this, but I'm gonna give you a little fucking behind the scenes shit. Before we start recording, this motherfucker Sam Ridley.
Oh God, I forgot. Okay.
When he checks his microphone, when he checks his microphone, for everyone that's seen Mission Impossible, the very first one, you'll know what I mean. He goes, toast. 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 And I'm like, why the fuck are you doing that? Like, but it's become a tradition. And I forget, even though we've done this for 3 months now, I forget he starts that way. So it always kind of catches me off guard, right? So I'm watching Mission Impossible, and I get to that scene, and I'm like, fucking Sam. Like, now every time I fucking watch this movie, at this part, I'm going to think about you. So my question to you about this movie, Mission Impossible, this one particular scene, the White Room, right?
Yeah.
In the White Room, and you know how he's bouncing, he's floating above the floor and all that shit, can't make a certain amount of noise, all this bullshit, right? Can't change the temperature of the room. When the dude comes back in to sit down, logs into the computer, why didn't they just drop down in and just like pin this motherfucker up?
Because at that point, all the security shit turns off.
Yeah.
Well, because the whole point was for them to never have been there. If you hem him up, he's going to know he got hemmed up.
Well, they knew that they were there, though. Because the knife fell from the ceiling from fucking Francois and shit.
Francois. Look, if they didn't do it any other way, it wouldn't have been a movie. I'm not even going to dissect that
All right,
20
man.
years later.
I'm just saying. I was watching that shit. I'm like, why didn't they just grab that nigga then? I know this doesn't mean anything to a lot of you guys, but that's okay.
Yeah, and this is all my fault because I do that, and it's the first time I did it. He was like, "Did you just really
This nigga
Mission
said
Impossible
toast?
your microphone?" But I'm watching the levels, and I'm like, "Let me make sure my shit right." Like I don't know why Toast hits that like high peak
Toast.
sound. The S in it hits the middle,
Shit
and then you hit it.
sounds
You know,
out of left fucking field. You know what?
oh,
I got two things. All right. The other thing I wanted to get to, because we are doing this backwards today, people.
hey,
All right. So, something happened to me over the weekend. I live around older Caucasian brothers and sisters, right? So I'm doing something in my yard over the weekend, and this woman, she has to be 80, crosses the street, comes to my yard, being neighborly. Hey, how you doing? Oh, everything's cool. We talk about nothing. And she says, well, you should come over for happy hour one of these days.
ah,
I'm like, happy hour? She's like, yeah, I have all kinds of liquor and beer and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera in my house. Come through if you want to. I usually do it on Fridays. I'm like, okay, cool.
you seen that movie with Octavia Spencer called Ma?
Yo, no.
That's what it sounds like.
So
You ain't allowed to die. I think I told you that. We
yeah,
got a
you said
show to
that.
do.
You
You
said
ain't
that
allowed
before.
to die.
So I'll brush it off, right? Like, all right, whatever the fuck, whatever. I brush it off. And so today I pull up, I come back from my dad's house because apparently there was a deep freezer he wanted to give me. My house is
Random.
turned to a fucking junkyard in my garage.
That's real random. But go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so I come back from doing that, and her name. I was gonna say her name. The woman is across the street watering her grass. She's like, "Hey, Marcus, you still on for Friday? 5 p.m." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am, still on." And I start thinking to myself while I'm going in the house,
you have to go over there tomorrow.
I know I do. I know I have to go over there.
Because we have to tell them what happened next week.
Yeah, fuck. Okay, so
now you committed now, yeah.
So now I'm thinking like, I'm going to my house thinking, yo, I need to start saying fucking no to shit. Like I should.
Being nice.
I should have told
a good neighbor.
No. When my dad told me, "Hey, you want this deep freezer?" and I didn't answer him.
Now you got a deep freezer.
Now I have a deep freezer. He's like, hey, boy, when you coming over here to get this, help me put this thing in this truck so I can bring it over to your house. But what thing? Deep freezer you said you wanted. I never said I wanted a deep freezer.
You didn't say no.
I didn't say no, right? So I'm like, yo, there's a book. There's a book out called like Say Yes or fucking When to Say Yes or some shit like that. There needs to be a book out called fucking When to Say No. Like, no. How many things do you do in your life that you want to say no to, but you don't, and then that brings more stress to your life? You could have just said no. You could have just said no.
That Say Yes only works well for floetry, man. Like everybody else needs to learn to say no.
You gotta say just no is just say no. Just say no. Like I need to have more no's in my life.
You ain't had a DARE program when you was in school? Like they should have taught you that.
That was to drugs, man, not to like sweet old ladies.
That was a metaphor for life.
Man, she gonna get out me, man. She gonna get out me. She gonna
put some cotton in your ears before you go over
put some cushion cotton in my ears. Okay.
Yeah.
I do have one question though. One last one. It's been a longer pod than usual, but we had to get some we had to get some real smoke off in the front, right? So
absolutely.
One last thing, and I thought about this while we were kind of talking earlier. And you're not gonna know how I got here, but it's cool. So you and I had a conversation when my son was first born, and we had this whole thing about we talked and you said, so how you feel about it? I'm like, I don't really feel any kind of way about it. Like he just got here. He can grow up to be an asshole. Like I don't, whatever.
Yeah, I remember that because I thought it was wild, but I was also speaking from the standpoint of somebody that had already fallen in love with my kids. So
right. So I wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
I was still trying to, find a time to sleep. So
yeah, that's a rough period. Yeah.
So I had this thought, and we all think we know the answer before we get in the situation. But my question is, if your kid or kids, right? Let's do one kid to make it easy math for people.
All right.
If you have a kid, 6-year-old kid, so you have grown, this kid has grown into your life, you know this kid's personality, this kid has taken on pieces of your personality, right? Like you are dad, father, overlord of this child, right?
Right.
So you have a 6-year-old kid, and then you learn that the kid isn't yours.
Oh.
Would you still be the same father to that kid?
First of all, I wasn't ready.
I told you I was gonna. I told you in pre-production. I said I'm gonna ask you some shit that I haven't talked to you about.
Yeah, but you didn't. I wasn't ready.
Oh well, that's fair.
I thought we was about to go some sort of like fatherhood route. Now I'm sitting here thinking about like I don't know jail.
That's
time.
some deep shit though.
Yes.
That's some deep shit because when you don't have kids, you always say to yourself, if I find out that little motherfucker ain't mine, I'm fucking out of here.
Yes. But in that scenario, okay, let me ask you a question about that scenario. In it,
okay,
am I the only father figure he's known, or has the other guy kind of been okay?
No other guy.
Okay. It's just me.
Just you.
And then is the father coming in wanting to be a part of the child's life?
No.
Okay, because I was gonna say he need to be shot in the street. I hate to say, like, I have zero respect, and of course I'm speaking like metaphorically, like he needs to be killed publicly by everybody. I don't have any respect for dudes that deny their children that they know about. That's wild to me. But I'm also speaking from the standpoint of somebody that's never been in the scenario of like, I absolutely hate baby's moms, all of that type of shit, or the baby mom is making it hard for the father to be a father. So I can't speak to that, but I sympathize with it. I can't imagine having that happen to me and all of a sudden just looking at a kid. I would absolutely feel a way. Right. I think anybody sane would. But if you've been like blood of my blood for 6 years, it would be real hard for me to go, well, sorry, kid, I just learned some new information. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because at that point, it's not about me anymore. It's the child that has already latched on to me. So I feel like I'd be teaching him a real fucked up lesson by abandoning him at that point.
Yeah, just leaving him on the steps and shit as you take off.
Right.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. On some, hey, you go live with the Dursleys. Like
the Dursleys.
But somebody gonna know that reference. I'm not telling you where it came from, and they're gonna put it in the comments. But yeah, at that point, I'm teaching the child that it's okay to just leave somebody that you love. Also, I will say this: when the kid gets a little bit older, I would explain to him what's been going on. I think that I don't think it's fair to the parents that will like have a kid in that situation and then wait till they're like 25 and then be like, hey, so guess what? Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I think that's wrong. Like, as soon as I know that they're intelligent enough to grasp a situation, I think they need as much time as they can stand to start to absorb that sort of thing and take it however they want to take it.
Do you leave the mother?
Yes. Because the betrayal's not on the kid. The kid didn't do it. The mother knew.
Right.
Unless it's one of them like, I messed with 2 dudes. I was hoping you was the father, and then because you didn't know that she ever messed with another guy, you just take for granted that it's yours. But like, it depending on how the relationship was before the child came into play.
Yeah.
But if it's like a situation where she knew the whole time, yeah, we're fucking Dunskies.
You say Dunskies.
Dunskies, yes.
No, I agree with you, man. Because I think, I don't know if every guy's had that thought, but like when my son was being born, I just had the thought, like this thought that kind of like flashed across my mind because I worked away from my home a lot. Like I was gone all the fucking time. Like for you guys that don't know, I worked on oil rigs as I guess you kind of call it roughneck type of shit, right? So
like Armageddon, like Michael Clark Duncan.
yeah,
out
that
there?
shit. Yeah, that's what I was doing. Like offshore drilling and like inland drilling also. So I was away from home a lot. So when, there's a baby on the way, I'm like, and it's got nothing to do with her. That's just me, like, being in the military and shit. You fucking like, wait a minute. I've been deployed, and I get back, and now you talking about you pregnant? Like, so in my mind, I'm like, it was a little thing. But then, of course, as the kid gets older, the kid develops, you get attached to the child. And of course, now, like, there's nothing above my son now. Like, everything I do is for him. Like, in one way or another, everything I do is for him. Right. So I started thinking, like, man, like, what would that be like if I found out he wasn't mine? Like, what would I do? But then
what would you do? I answered it. What would you do?
I don't think, he would still be my son. Like, I can't, the relationship with his mother would obviously change. Like, now I really, really can't fuck with you. But
right.
I'm thinking like, damn, like could I see myself? I've helped, raise this kid to be such a, great little person. I've invested so much of myself into him, and I couldn't even, like, him disappearing from my life. And I just got a little emotional because I thought about him dying, like because of what we talked about earlier.
Damn. Yeah, man. Don't go down that road.
Sorry,
it's dark.
him disappearing from my life because of a decision that his mother made, and then I was informed of it, and then I made. That's not fair because he doesn't even know. Like it's the adults that have the issue. It's not the kid.
Yeah, it's the adults that are in that situation that can adversely affect that shit. You know what I'm saying? But the kid ain't got nothing to do with it. So
the kid has nothing to do with it.
To me, that question, like the whole intricacy of how you're gonna play the child portion is pretty simple, and at the same time, it's an absolute how it's gonna affect me and the baby's mom. Like I can't even think about it going a different way.
Yeah.
I can't think about it going a different way. But let me tell y'all, like you listening, I know from episode 1 to now, I've heard different people be like, Marcus used to be real hard to fucking, whatever. There's a man I talk to on a daily basis that isn't an amazing father. So kudos to you. Like the fact, if y'all just heard him just thinking about losing his son, like we almost went back there.
Yeah, I'm still trying not to go back there. So I don't know if you're hearing my voice or not.
I do. Like that shit is a thought that I think every black father has on a daily basis, going back to kind of bring it full circle to what we've been talking about, and it's terrifying. So like shout out to the strong fathers out there that's handling a business of any color.
Yeah,
and it's
man.
in your kids' lives, man. Like
shout out to you too, dog. Like a lot of stuff that I was struggling with the fatherhood thing in the beginning, and you like helped me through that. Like, look, man, you'll get there. Like you'll get to the point where you get it. You just don't get it now. You've been running around the fucking world working and shit. Now you're kind of trying to be in one place at one time. You say you don't love your son right now. He's 2 days old, and you sound like a fucking crazy person. But you'll get there.
Yeah, and you did. And I gotta tell you, because I know you're my older son's godfather. I can't wait to see MJ and give him a complicated fucking transformer. That is. Let me tell y'all. Let me tell y'all what this nigga did to me. That was your first time meeting him, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was
great.
I
take my son to meet his godfather for the first time, and he hasn't seen him in a while. We gotta fix that. And this dude presents him with a toy. All kids love Transformers. And it is the most complicated. You need a schematic to transform toy.
You need instructions for real.
Like for real. I had them instructions, no shit, in my wallet for a year. I had them in my wallet, bruh. And my son was real young, so he come toddling in the room. Transformer.
Yeah.
Transformer. I was like, fuck Marcus. Like, I ain't even cool with this dude no more.
You unfold that fucking shit out your wallet, shit like 4x4. Like, goddamn.
I can't wait.
It was definitely
to give.
No.
I can't wait to give him a complicated toy for you to deal with. And I hope he loves it.
It's fucking calculus of Optimus Prime. Like, holy shit. What you need a formula to put this shit together?
I can't wait, boy.
Well, man.
Man.
It's all right. The garbage can is deep. I'm sure we'll find somewhere to put it.
And I never figured out how to transform it right. He always got a half-ass Optimus. It was the weirdest.
You would send me pictures of that shit like.
Dog, that shit was fucking ridiculous.
How'd you turn it into a fucking Pinto, nigga? It's supposed to be a semi-truck.
He was never a semi-truck again.
One time, out the box.
You ain't towing shit. You a U-Haul.
Oh,
that's what you turn into now. Hey. Yo. Thank y'all so much for sticking with us through a very, very difficult pod, man. It really was.
Sorry, it had to be done, though.
It had to be done. I'm not even sorry. Like, I hope somebody that hasn't heard this sort of thing before got to hear it from some people that's going to give it to you real. And we're not filtered by anybody yet. You know, why we talking about like once the corporations get in there and want to, no, this is just you hearing it from two black men living this shit every day. So once again, thank you to all of y'all that follow and are dedicated and constantly tell people about it.
Thank you.
Listening in at your job, making sure people are in earshot just so you can let them know about the pod. Y'all are our A1s, man. I swear to God, I love y'all. So, keep it listening.
Fuck with y'all.
Fuck with y'all heavy, man. We gonna be at you every Sunday like normal, man. Thank y'all so much for checking us out. I'm Sam Ridley, your comedian you never heard of. Hopefully you'll love. This is my boy Marcus Palmer.
Yep.
And we up out of here, man. Thank y'all for listening to Illegal Opinions, baby.
Yeah, we out.